The middle child of the Halloween universe is rarely ever spoke upon, but has been seen by most. Kinda like a Voldemort type of ad, feel me? I say because I'm guilty of this myself, and I wondered why, so I went and rewatched Halloween 2007 and Halloween 2 that came in 2009. And I understood why. If you're a horror fan, Rob Zombie's formula has always been bad bitches, degenerates, gore, grunge, drugs, and nudity. Things the Halloween series was never known for, and when it was implemented, it was fucking terrifying because it felt too real, believe it or not. Halloween 2007 and 2009, within the first 10 minutes of both films, in today's age, none of the stuff fly at all. Dialogue alone and the fact animals are getting axed, none of this shit is flying. Halloween 2007 did a great job at retconning Michael's origin story. The 78 iteration of Michael, at just the age of 6, it was a sudden surge of rage. He snapped and killed his sister. He just suddenly became the embodiment of evil. Rob Zombie's take shows there's always been something mentally wrong with Michael, but due to his environment, it wasn't helping to suppress or shed light on it. Michael began with animals, constantly losing pets, and soon the school was finding deceased animals that were killed by Michael. But at home, his mom's a stripper, stepdad is an alcoholic and verbally abusive. Judith Myers is descending into mom's path while belittling Michael, and at school, Michael is the victim of bullying by his fellow classmates. Also, Michael is just 10 years old. That's 4 years older than the 78 iteration of Michael. With nobody to keep an eye on his mental, Michael slowly burned until he snapped, killing his bully first, eventually massacring his household except for Mom, who had luckily happened to be at work, and Lori, who was just an infant. What's even more disturbing is Michael can't recall anything from that night when he's assigned Dr. Loomis as his psychiatrist. He knows what he did, but it's all a blur. He's put into a psych ward where another highlight of the film is Mom, as she continues to support Michael. Mom understood why he did what he did. She feels guilty, but makes sure she's with him every week. But as the days and years pass by, Michael descends more and more into the fog of emptiness. He goes from a boy who just wanted to be home with his mom and sister to a hollow shell of mass destruction, where he only felt safe within said destruction. Rob Zombie also dug more into the Loomis relationship. He spends time with Michael and speaks to him constantly to a point they have no secrets, even going on to state they became best friends. But with Michael seeing he's not getting out, he closes himself off more and more. Eventually, Mom goes on to exit herself and Loomis gives up. The only two people left who cared about him. Michael has nobody left, now a victim to his darkness, the embodiment of evil, pitch black. As typical in Halloween films, he breaks out of wherever he was held at and hunts down Lori. And this is where the terrifying part begins. Michael in the Rob Zombie take is played by Taylor Maine, who is 6'9", 300 pounds, and he was fucking moving in these films. Typically, Michael has always been the fast striker. He was never trying to tussle too much. I'm gonna take you down as efficiently as possible. But Rob Zombie's Michael had said ability, but he kinda preferred his victims to suffer instead. Like Michael was on some, I'm gonna put you at death's doorstep, but I'm not gonna let you knock or let death answer you until I say so. Like, just look at how he did Lori's adoptive mother. He cripples her as he allows her to crawl to the phone just before she can get it, manhandles her again, then proceeds to snap her neck with one hand. Or when he beat and cut Annie to near death, but chose to purposely leave her near unconscious body right at the door so he could hide behind said door to ambush Lori. It was sinister. If it wasn't for Annie regaining consciousness, Lori wouldn't have locked in. I mean, look at what he did to Danny Trejo, the only guard that was considerate to Michael, and he still got done horribly. Michael proceeds to drown him to near unconsciousness, all to finish him off by crushing him with a fucking box TV. He could have just continued the drowning. Did I forget to mention? Rob Zombie's Michael is moving. None of that slow-paced walking from the 80s and 90s. This man Michael is putting some pep in his steps. As per usual, Michael broke out and hunted Lori down, but instead of getting close and failing like the 80s and 90s counterparts, he actually succeeds multiple times, because I mean, Who the hell is stopping him? All Michael wanted was like a therapy session with Lori. He wanted her to acknowledge him. She's the only family he had left. But after failing to get her to connect with him, he changes to just killing her too. Michael subdues his rage when it comes to Lori. He was straight up capture and go. That last bit of humanity he had was Lori, but to see her shun him like everyone else, the cards are off the table. Michael took Lori back to the Myers house where she flees, and it led to a cat and mouse game. And you want to talk about fear and anxiety? Lori is hidden within the walls of this raggedy ass house while Michael is dismantling the shit out of it to find her. Think of that scene from Arkham Origins where Bane senses Batman within the elevator shaft. It was terrifying to see Lori crawl through creaking ceilings and walls only to be cornered again. Lori manages to get a gun, so she's cornered, but she's got what should be stopping power. But it doesn't matter. Michael drops his weapon and just full speed charges at Lori and spears her off a balcony. This swings in Lori's favor as she ends up on top to deliver a face shot to Michael to conclude the first film. Halloween 2 would follow just 2 years later, and if you thought the first film was disturbing, Halloween 2 stood on that and decided to double everything it had showcased. Again, the first 10 minutes was enough to get this movie cancelled in today's age. Just off the dialogue, as two EMTs discuss necrophilia. But also, Michael getting surgery done while in a moving ambulance was grotesque. Lori gets this dream of Michael surviving that night and hunting her down at the Haddonfield Hospital. This sequence was fucking terrifying. We've seen Michael take down a hospital before, but Rob's Michael with that destructive rage, it genuinely scares you as it's not a subtle takedown like 81 was. It's very loud and very bitch, I'm here. These nurses aren't stopping anything. These guards surely aren't. The hospital is in the middle of nowhere. Lori went from being within a neighborhood to being on an island. Pure isolation. Lori's got a broken leg and is forced to maneuver throughout the hospital. It's raining out, and everywhere she turns, Michael is there. He's an unstoppable force. But where are you gonna go? His killing of the nurse was gruesome as he overkills her, grunting and putting more force into every stab wound. What else sells Rob's Halloween series is Lori. She's scared. She doesn't get that final girl confidence, that girl power moment. She shakes, she cries, she screams, she begs. Yeah, she'll fight back, but it always leads to nowhere. The hospital sequence turns out to be just a dream. It's been 2 years since Michael has seemingly been killed. Lori is now suffering with constant PTSD from the events of the first film. Turns out Lori was a poor shot. Michael survived the wound and resumes his hunt for Lori. You remember how Carpenter's Michael was a decent driver? Well, Rob Zombie's Michael just walks his way to Lori. 2 days worth of walking based on the date at the beginning of the film, but it very well could have been more. Just pure walking. It's hella intimidating. Lori is slowly drowning more and more into insanity the closer Michael gets. It's like a ticking time bomb. Michael is leaving a blood trail throughout county to county. Like, ref, he's catching bodies in a strip club. Please do something. And this is what made Halloween 2 so terrifying. It was the approach of the inevitable. There wasn't any silver lining. No hope. Again, Lori's resolve never improves. It's deteriorating rapidly, as the same rage Michael's gotten is now beginning to flow through her. Eventually, Michael finds the location Lori has been hiding away at. But Lori was gone. Annie was the only person home, and it's here we got the most gut-wrenching kill out of the entire Halloween series. Keep in mind, this is the same Annie Michael used as bait to capture Lori. Only he thought she died, a job completed. Michael discovering she survived with no Lori around, he absolutely fucking snapped. He begins breaking everything within the house, and eventually Annie is left as the outlet for his rage. I can only show bits and pieces as it's that gruesome. It's barely even shown exactly what Michael did to her. All we get is the aftermath site. Lori and Maya return home a half hour later. Lights are off. No sight of Annie, so Lori and Maya decide to search the house to find her. The more they search, the more destruction they find left by Michael, until they get to the bathroom and see the tragedy Michael inflicted upon Annie. Again, I can barely show any of this. Michael painted the bathroom red with Annie and had again left her to suffer. Only this time, there was no silver lining. Lori was too late. This is the same Annie that barely survived the first attempt on her life, so of course, Michael would make sure the job was done correctly this time. Annie was going to suffer until she succumbed to her injuries, and that's exactly what happened. What he did to Maya was pretty bad too. Michael allowed Lori and her to discover Annie's body and attempt to call the police before revealing himself. It's like a lion stalking its prey. Every stab wound he did was with maximum power, the grunts and the tearing of flesh. Annie was the daughter of Sheriff Brackett of the Haddonfield Police Department, who was able to rescue her in the prior film. He had received Maya's broken call, but arrived on the scene too late. The sheriff failed to protect his daughter as he finds her lifeless corpse and the mess Michael had left behind. It's gut-wrenching. No father deserves to go through such agony. Pops was defeated. He'd spent the last 2 years doing everything in his power to prevent an event like this, but it meant nothing. Michael was too much of a force to be stopped, no matter what. As per usual, Lori is left as final girl, and the chase scene is had. And as I mentioned earlier, Michael succeeds in capturing Lori quite a bit in the Rob Zombie take. Like, he's constantly flexing on past iterations of Michael. He takes her to a secluded shack to essentially finish her off. Downside here is Michael has caused so much destruction, he's gotten the attention of national news. Think of it like 5 stars in GTA. They're on his ass. Michael is killed via firing squad. Series is over. All should be good. All's well that ends well. So do you think? But Lori's mental health has been deteriorating at a rapid rate, but not just PTSD. She was beginning to get sudden raging impulses. Encountering Michael again has pushed her beyond the limits of saving. Lori attempts to kill an already injured Loomis, where she's also shot to death via firing squad, where she ends up in an afterlife mental institute to conclude the end of the Rob Zombie Halloween run. Okay, a few loose ends I want to tie up here. Dr. Loomis. He was one of the best highlights of the 07 Halloween, as he played a part in taking Michael down. He was seen as a hero. He went on to become a professor and speak on the experience he'd had with befriending Michael. But in the sequel, his character does a complete 180, as he let the fame get to his head, going on to write a best-selling book about the night he survived Michael Myers, going on talk shows, autograph signings, and more. Lori was the main character of this book. He never paid Lori for the success of this book, her troubles, nor did he keep in contact with her. He used Lori for clout, further ruining her life by throwing national media coverage on her. This solidified Lori's spiral into insanity. Loomis telling the world Lori Strode as Michael Myers' sister broke her to the point of no return. So her getting hit with the PTSD, plus seeing this book that's a bestseller, it damaged her to the point where she was just like, well, fuck everything. Dr. Loomis went from trying to understand and inform those of Michael to capitalizing off the carnage he'd left behind 2 years ago. Loomis is even approached during a book signing by the father of a victim Michael had killed. You feel for this grieving parent. It's not fair you get to capitalize off such events. Next up, the White Horse. Okay, the White Horse typically is the embodiment of purity or grace within mythology. Rob Zombie gives this a 180, using it to represent Michael's instinctual rage. Like the thumbnail states, it's pure rage, meaning it's untainted, unmixed, non-conflicting, with the grace being his unstoppability. The White Horse is just a hallucination Michael sees, and soon eventually Lori. With all the shit Lori had endured, the evil gene revealed itself, so it was an inherited gene that takes getting pushed to the brink of insanity to show itself. Both Laurie and Michael were pushed to such limits. Even after Laurie is killed, she is still drowning in the White Horse hallucination. Those were the only loose ends I could really think of that needed an explanation. Moving on. The Rob Zombie series did a great job at paying homage to the past films, like a damn good job. The scene with Laurie walking with Tommy and then her friends while being stalked is paying homage to the 1978 film, where Laurie and her friends were also getting tailed, but at least they had some cigarettes to take the edge off. When Laurie is sitting with her friends in a library, she takes a look out the window. She sees Michael staring at her, similar to how Laurie spotted Michael from her class window in Halloween H2O. That scene where that couple had just got done screwing and the guy goes on to replenish on beer to ultimately get choked and impaled, with Michael appearing as a ghost? Well, that happened in the 1978 iteration. The scene where Michael charges at Laurie to tackle her off the balcony as a last-ditch effort, that happened in the 1978 film. Only Loomis shot Michael before he took his tumble. In Halloween 209, Annie dying was a homage to the 1981 Halloween where Sheriff Brackett discovered Annie being rolled on a stretcher. Halloween 209, Laurie had a dream of Michael following her to the Haddonfield Hospital and raising all hell. While in Halloween 1981, the whole film was centered around Michael invading the hospital and raising hell. Laurie inheriting the evil gene and spazzing out was homage to Halloween 5, where Jamie shares a psychic connection with Michael via family curse. The actress who plays Annie in both films is actually Jamie, not canon to the reboot, but it's the same actress. Her name's Danielle Harris. She starred as Final Girl in Halloween 4 and 5. All in all, the Rob Zombie iteration of Halloween still stands the test of time visually and with fear factor. This was the most disturbing, destructive, and terrifying version of Michael we'd ever gotten. The sequel timeline doesn't hold a candle. The H40 timeline doesn't hold a candle. Neither does the H2O timeline. Rob Zombie's iteration was truly one of a kind that shed a deeper psychological aspect to Michael and those around him. This was as real as we'd ever gotten Michael Myers throughout the mental issues, the failing of the school/justice system, the drug abuse, the use of capitalization off victims, and just the selfishness of society. There truly was never any hope. It's stuff that happens in the real world. I appreciate you guys watching. Feel free to share your thoughts on the Rob Zombie iteration of Michael Myers. What was your favorite Halloween timeline? Don't forget to like, share, and sub. Peace.